It's basically like the gold standard, but in crypto. I only have so much gold. This is how much money I have. I only have this much crypto. This is how much money I have. It's basically forcing the government not to print more paper.
Here's your sister, the greatest person we both know. Makes you have an original thought. There was something very serious we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
So we have to have a very, very serious talk.
Me or them?
Then. Oh. Now, season. You know, what else is there left to do? Everything's closed. People are going to start,
shame.
You know, playing Head to Sosig. People are going to start, you know. You know? So,
Zing, Yahtzee.
So,
we don't have a soundboard. We just have
I'm going to give a little tip out there, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
To all my fellow people out there, Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Just a Friend, you know, here's to you. I got a little something that'll help cheer you up. It's a very old cop saying I heard from back when I was working in law enforcement. It goes like this, okay? You know, everything in life can apply back to this, especially picking up women. Unless you're a woman into dudes, I guess you could use this to pick up dudes.
Okay.
If you're a lesbidite, you could use this to pick up anything you want.
Yep.
Lesbidites are strong.
Now, right. You strong women.
Very strong
men
and women.
What is this tip?
All right, here's a tip.
Here's a tip.
You ever hear about the bulls and the cows?
Yeah, but I learned firsthand.
All right. How's it go then, pal? You know?
I'm not going to explain that on YouTube where we get demonetized.
They don't pay us anyway.
It doesn't.
There's a couple of bulls, a baby bull and a daddy bull.
Listen,
they're sitting on top of this mountain.
Okay. This is not
looking a field of beautiful jerseys. I'm talking they got beautiful heifers out there. And the baby bull says, daddy bull, he says, hey, pop. You know, we just say we run down there as fast as we can and we insert swear button censor and we f the shit out of one of those.
I'll do it in post.
Out of one of those. And we f the shit out of one of those doink doink bing bong zing out of one of those godforsaken little big little nipple having big shouldered.
You're making
thick. And the daddy bull says, the baby bull, he says, no, son. How about we walk down there like men? F every one of those lusty cow son of a bitches down there.
That's like, there's a scene.
It'll be funnier with all the cuss censors in there.
Oh, no. But it's very similar because have you heard of someone named, oh my gosh, I drew a blank. Anyway, there's an episode of Ridiculousness where one of these, he's on Comedy Central, he's a prank guy. I'll put his picture right there because I'll find him later. But he goes, I haven't cursed this whole episode. He goes, let me give your production team a little bit of work. And he goes like this, and starts doing all these actions on live TV. And it just is a blur. And it goes like this for a minute and a half. Beep. So that's what you just did to me. You made me just bleep out a minute of... You guys aren't going to be able to hear it, but I heard it very clearly.
You know, it'd be funny if instead of just the regular beep, we have like different sounds. We have a beep and then a, you know, yeah. Like different the cartoon sound. People are,
well, listen, that's not the only tip we're here to share with you today.
Yeah. You know, zing, Yahtzee.
I'll see if I can find some sounds on the internet.
Download every boomerang cartoon sound effect you can find.
That's true.
Zing.
But and so I didn't know how we really wanted this to go, but obviously it's been a hot minute since we posted an episode.
It is.
Two things. One of them's my fault. We did an episode on a nerd one that I'll post right after this one, and that's because I've just been so damn busy. That I have no time to edit a 2-hour podcast in my free time. So, number one. And number two, it was 2 hours long. So it takes me 6 hours to edit this thing. Now, this one...
And number three. Tell them why we've been busy.
Yeah, well, we've got lives. So this isn't our day job. So we have lives and we do other stuff. This is purely for entertainment.
Isn't our day job?
Because
you don't hit the subscribe button!
That's exactly right.
You bing bong.
Look at how...
Zing.
Look at this. depressed.
Slide whistle. Sad trombone.
Well, and we've also been busy because we've actually been doing really well in this crazy ass market.
We have, believe it or not. I made
So-
$1,000 last week.
And I have about 1,800 when I remove my account today, just from a month of us doing it. So hopefully you'll be seeing us a lot more often.
But
But
the week before that, I made $33. Yeah, boy.
there's
Zing. How you like me now?
but it's just
Sir, you have bad credit. Yeah, well, I can make $30 to $1,000 in a week.
that's you
Know
boy
what I'm saying?
boy.
So if you're out there and you want to learn some investment tips, follow me on StockTwits or on Twitter at Big Wayne.
I got a screenshot
The
right
link
there.
in the description.
That's right. And then so we just thought we'd kind of round off. I have like topics we can go over that will help not only like maybe you understand my process and vice versa, because we do really well like kind of separate in two different methods. So we're not going to reveal everything, but we're going to give you the information that we use basically to figure the stock market out.
We'll give you Victoria's rumors, but not the secrets, okay?
Booyah. There we go. That was really good.
Yeah. Hey, modest is hottest, you know what I'm saying?
But like I have like new things that are coming up. Like I thought we'd go through stock market 101, right? How we figured it out, what you look for, patterns, that kind of a thing.
All right.
I have the new one. You don't know about this, but I wanted to bring it up. The sudden Thor. Put him back on the books.
If people would subscribe,
Yes.
we would have had actual Thor hair.
Yeah. If you guys would subscribe, we have actual Thor.
Actual Thor.
He told us that in an email. Don't know if it was him, but he did send it to me.
I've
but-
seen a picture of him on Google. We're totally best friends.
Yeah. And then I have like this new. Have you heard of the new cryptocurrency like breakthrough rise? Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the companies, everything involved?
Yeah. I remember when I bought and sold Dogcoin and made $200.
Yahtzee.
No, I mean like actual cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Ethereum. Have you heard of these ones?
Yeah, ETH.
Yes. And then there's one that blew my mind, which is called NFTs, non-fungible tokens is what they're called.
Non-fun. That sounds shady as shit.
I'll explain it. And then the next part is the proper way to building actual wealth, the way that we're doing it, right? The way that I want people to look at it this way. So, you want to start from Stock 101, figure out what's going on? Or
Alright.
you want to stop, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to tell you the problem with why you're not wealthy. You ready?
Here we go.
Okay.
Here is.
So I'm
Hold
going
on,
to...
hold on, real
You
quick.
go...
Screenshot, insert old-timey, wait, hold please.
Oh, please.
Chase and Wayne explain why you're broke and pathetic.
Yeah, or I just labeled it the proper way to building wealth. So, and I mean, there's a ton of examples from just my family, probably your family at all, that, come on, dude.
I built the table, you built the legs. What?
Yeah, the table's solid. The legs, they're from Home Depot, so blame them. Okay?
We got
But-
Arnold Schwarzenegger
so
with
it's
Danny DeVito legs over here for the table.
Yeah, this sucker's thick,
on,
sturdy,
come
and his
on.
legs are real thin. They're short little legs. Well, I put down, you can tell me if you agree or not agree, but like these are the three things I see that are wrong. The problem that people don't get are these right here. There's three. People spend like they're rich, but they don't invest like rich people. Okay? Booyah. So you're spending more than you earn, right? Which includes going into extreme debt. Okay? Stupid. Now,
You're dumb.
number two, most of you, like everybody else, own debt. They don't own an asset that makes them money.
You don't own assets.
Example of a
You're
debt.
basic.
A car with the payment, house with the payment, and like clothes to use with the credit card to buy at Marshalls or wherever you go. Okay? Examples
you
of
think
an
dick pics will get you laid?
examples of an asset: real estate, stock investment, dividend portfolio. Those are the big three.
If you think dick pics will get you laid, try sending screenshots of your portfolio.
Dude, there was a guy. He had a hot girlfriend, made an OnlyFans. I watched him do a podcast the other day. He made $3 million this year off OnlyFans. How thirsty are you people? He was
always
my favorite.
We're parched.
He's Australian, so he's like, good. I've got a tiny wiener, and he's like, I thought I made like $10. I made $3 million. I was like, holy hell! This Aussie made $3 million just by showing his penis and a hot chick. How? He goes, in the first week we made like $500,000. I was like,
That's not a knife. It's his.
And then he said I would never stoop so low. But then I said, fuck it, let's do pornography. I was like, if you made $500,000 in a week, if you made $3 million in 1 year from OnlyFans, ridiculous. And the third one is no one wants to get to saving $100,000, but when you hit $100,000, that's the hardest part of creating money, is hitting $100,000. And I have the chart right here for you. I'll post it right here, you boy.
See you, boy.
No, Jordan, I'm gonna share this with you too, because it blew my mind as well.
All right,
So
all right.
you have $100,000. The goal that we shoot for, $100,000. Okay, you put it in there for 10 years and you don't touch it at an 8% return, and then say maybe you put in like $20,000 a year, just additional side income into this account, right? Okay, $20,000 a year.
Okay.
In 10 years, your balance is $505,000. That's $500,000, and 205 of that is just from the interest. Okay, that's 100,000, 8%, not touching it and adding like minimal amounts every month, right? So, but then if you leave it in there and you let it compound, it exponentially increases to well over $1 million very, very quickly. So it's not unfathomable, which was also what blew my mind, because people think the only way to get there is by achieving 100,000 in your 401k, right? Okay.
401k,
And I get it. I have my job. I have a 401k. Okay. It's not weird. It's not foreign. It's not like something that, oh my gosh, I don't have a 401k. I'm just saying, don't make that your only option. Like if anything is your only option, you're screwed. Because then what happens when someone removes that option?
Like they did with Social Security for the elderly during the Obama administration.
You're screwed. Or we're gonna
gone.
Madden's generation won't have any, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll barely have any left. So they'll have enough to cover us and maybe Madden's generation, because more people are moving than depositing into Social Security. Mm-hmm. So you can't really depend on that either. But if you want to add that in, if this is part of a retirement savings, on the calculator, it's well over $3 million. But you can't count on that. You only count on you. So I'm just saying that's $400,000 extra without even really doing any effort, right? Mm-hmm. That you would never have seen before if you just hit 100,000, right?
You know what else is great about that?
What?
People are like, oh, well, you can't trust the government, you can't trust the business. Then take your own advice and start investing. Quit putting all your money,
into the government. You're telling someone else that
Here you go, I'm too stupid. Figure out how to get me to not quit working. Meanwhile, I sleep over my job every day that I hate to get to the point where I can no longer hate my job.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just work towards something else?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm not saying, like I said, the funny thing is, all of this, this year, at the end of this month, is our 1 year anniversary of this podcast, right? And I don't know if you can tell, but we are way more comfortable and way more adapted to this than we were before. Very well. I'm good at recording. I'm very good at recording.
High five.
High five. And so it's just something that over time you learn, you get used to, and you kind of develop new habits and new skills. So as those develop as you get older, then you can do something with the money that you get from those said skills. So I'm just saying, if you want to think of a number, don't think of a high number like $1 million. Think of a lower number like 100,000. I can't tell you. There's a book, right? The little book of common sense investing, right there with Thor sitting on, right there. Boom. That'll teach you everything you need to know about investing. Okay, it's kind of a boring read with a lot of information, but get a highlighter, you'll be golden, son.
And if you are too tired to read, you'd always do my method.
What? Audible?
Taking every top gainer every top 5 gainer of every day for the last 2 years and finding the pattern there.
Okay, perfect. That leads us. So that's where I want to establish, right? The idea of wealth is obviously achievable. It's just the way people see it is way wrong. So if I can just break it down, minimize expenses, save to 100,000, and learn as much as you can about even the simplest of investing, like an ETF or some kind of an index fund, you're fine. Mm-hmm. Okay? Even that will generate money for you. But what you just said is exactly how we were doing the stock market, right? So yours is different than mine. So do you want to go with yours is a day trade? You don't have to explain any detail because yours took forever.
I'll go into details with them.
Very complicated. I'm going to give you an
I'll give
example.
them the basics, I guess, right?
Well, mine's very simple, right? How do I find companies, right? This is how I do it. I go on this thing called YouTube, okay? I find the popular stock, okay? I make sure that they're not just a bunch of baloney. So I look up the stock myself, and I see the market cap. I see how popular the volume is.
How much is it?
I see what the company is and what they're doing. Okay? If I like what they're doing, I like that they have no debt. I like that they have an actual amount of cash on hand, and that they're trying to generate more cash to protect the company. You have longevity. I like you as a company, and maybe you're doing something really well. Great, you're gonna boom when that hits the market.
Well,
So
you
technically,
also
I'm
look
here
at how
early.
they did in the past few years. You also want to look at like an ATR.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. If that was true, then Sensonics would be a joke. But Sensonics is 0.60 cents forever, and then now it suddenly is like, oh my gosh,
Sure.
it's a high peak of 530.
That's true. You know, one of my several day trading strategies is for that.
Well, it's like my dad and my other family members used to say, it just takes one idea to change your life. It takes one good product, one good this to change. Same with Sensonics. That's a perfect example of a company. Or BNGO. Remember BNGO?
That was our first one.
That made us so much money.
That was the first stock I ever held.
Yeah. It just kept like, oh God. Yeah. But
Look at her go.
I just like I said, those basic elements, you could find companies that actually make money. It's that simple. But that's why I wanted to say that because I wanted you to know where I'm coming from mine.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Me, I'm not a patient man. All right. I hate having to wait on things to make me money.
Boy,
That is a flaw for me. Okay. I'm a real fucking wet sock of a
I'll let
slobbering donkey biscuit over here.
You gotta tell me.
Slobbery fucking donkey biscuit because I can't fucking,
Boy, but
because I don't like to wait.
Right.
I hate waiting. So, if you're wanting to do these YouTube strategies, here's kind of my method for doing the YouTube plays. Now, Chase will find me the greatest things out there. However, you have a lot of dummies out there, okay? And what are dummies good for?
ain't nothing good for absolutely nothing.
They're good for making you money.
Okay, maybe not.
So what I do is I buy the second that video comes out, I buy it that day. I buy it pre-market, Then, 8 o'clock, everybody on Robinhood's like,
I gotta have it. All these great YouTubers mentioned it. Take all my money, take all my money.
and then the price goes up. Okay? It goes up, usually the next day, after lunch to the end
here's
of the day.
a perfect example.
It'll drop again.
Yeah,
Okay.
the OPTT is the perfect example.
Thank you.
I watch a bunch of people talk about it when it was really cheap. I like the tech, so I'm involved. But that same day that the videos came out,
It's a steamboat.
it went the highest peak of like 540, and then it tanked back down to like 490 where it's at.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it is true. That's a method it's a really easy method.
Well, that's when I get in. I day trade those. But
Yeah.
Here's what I do. And then after I sell it, it'll keep doing that for a few days, yeah?
Mhm.
I don't like double dipping. But if you wait 2 to 3 days afterward, then you can get back in. Because it no longer messes with the swing trade method for how these great people are finding it.
Right.
It no longer messes with
Well,
that.
because most of the people are like, I got my quick hit and they're done. But if you know that the company's going to be around for a hot minute,
You buy it 2 or 3 days after
you're
the
doing
video's
good,
out
boy,
there.
boy. You're doing good.
It's like, hey, when do you want to buy the good candy? Valentine's Day?
Or you want to buy it on February 15th? Holla at your boy.
February 15th.
February 15th, also known as Diabetics Eve. Okay.
It's hilarious because it's just this large dude with like glasses. Have you ever watched?
Named Chuck.
You-
Chuck.
Remember Superstore? Remember Elias? The guy from Elias, but he doesn't have any lines ever, but he's just this short, chunky guy with glasses. And I just see like an Elias character marking off these things with 70%, 70%, 70%. The chocolates. I wish I had a girlfriend. 70%, 70%.
And I see everybody doing this, and I'm like, hey, stupid. Peeps are $5. If you wait a day, it'll be $1.23.
There'll be $1.23. So we like, and like I said, that's usually the same method of how it goes. The dummies will get in from the YouTube videos.
You make money off the dummies. You sell around. Don't you dare hold one of these. Before
now,
after lunch. Don't hold one of these after lunch. You make your money. You get the fuck out.
Right.
You get back in 2-3 days later. Wah, okay.
Well, let me just before YouTube takes us out again, because we got flagged for an inappropriate video, proving that the bad stuff doesn't actually happen.
We said somebody was.
Way to go! Now I have to bleep that out. I can't even say that.
Please use the cartoon sounds.
But so because of that, I'm gonna say we're not financial advisors at all. We are regular Joes who happen to make money in a market that's crazy. But the patterns we are seeing is very similar. Video comes out, stock goes high, okay, either the day or the next day when people see the video, okay, because then they put another video of a new one out. Then it goes way, way, way down back to the original, which is then either you buy before when you see the video, like when I see it in the middle of the night, like at 4 a.m. or something, then I'm like, I'll get in now. Or you wait for the immediate spike, sell off at 8:30, drops back down at 9 o'clock, you get in then, your chances are way better. I'm just saying the
CPSH was a great example of that. It went from what? It went from like $5 to $9.
Well, shout out to Dead Inside.
He's my favorite out there.
So it didn't go in a day. It was the moment that people sold off, they wanted back in because the contract was up. The Navy bought this company's like steel plating basically for the ships, which was one boat for $30 million, and their thing went from like $9 or something to like $25. And I sold early. Like I doubled my money and sold. I didn't know I could have tripled that. But that's fine. I made double and I got out.
You know what? Yeah, you don't have to. That's another good thing Chase brings up. If you want to be a successful investor, don't buy scratchers with the lotto winnings. No, you don't do it.
Yes. Now,
don't you ever do that, you Muppet licking toad fucks, okay?
Our goal's a little different. So that is true. But once you get to the point of like a high count where you have like 25 to 30,000, then you can mess with the idea. Yeah. Because then a small 10% return isn't like $100, it's $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. So then you have a little more leeway of what you want, what you can like negotiate. Mm-hmm. But when you're small, do not gamble with your profits.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's dumb.
Stupid.
Because to me, it was like I'm using my work income to pay for stock investing. So if I earn money from a good pick, that's mine. I'm putting it back in my account, and you ain't seeing none of it.
Keep it a side hustle. Don't make it a hobby.
Yeah. So then that account grows, and then once you hit that high number of 25 to 30, you can day trade all day long.
And don't hold it until you make, I'm going to make millions of dollars. You're not, okay? Yeah. You know how you get to $1 million in stock investing? You know how you make $1,000 a week in investing? You know how you make about like $2,000 to $3,000 in a week from investing? You want to know how you do it? It's easy. You don't try to make that amount.
Yeah.
What you try to do is you say, hey, if I can make $100 a day
Booyah.
For a week, you know what I can do then? I'll be good. And if you make $30 that day, the next day you can make 70 plus.
Yeah.
You know what that does? You make more or less than that all the time, right?
Right.
But eventually you will make more than that. You will make more on some days. You will lose some days. But $100 a day is perfect. That is a realistic, retainable goal. And if you can make $100 a day trading, what does he say in the Wolf of Wall Street? If you can make $1, you can make $1 million more.
Yeah. Oh, dope. Yeah.
So if you can make $100 a day, how much do you make it work?
Well, that's also another problem that we have to address everyone thinks it's like, I should have bought Google. I'd be a millionaire.
You wouldn't have.
Nothing ever happens. That never happened.
If we could
Even the rich people never just were like, I'll buy Google and sit on it. They didn't do that.
Well, Martha Stewart, on the other hand, did that because she had some insider information.
I'm still fuzzy on that. You that conversation we had about insider trading, it made it very fuzzy for me. I'm like, I don't know. You remember you spent like 30 minutes in the car asking me about like Wolf of Wall Street. Well, why was his insider trading and then ours was, and I tried to explain that his was more like selling and lying to people to make a lot of money rather than just like knowing information. So his was like jailable, like federally jailed because he was stealing from Americans.
She knew.
But hold on. But then the hedge funds do it every single time.
They do.
And then the GameStop thing happens, and now they're real upset.
Do you know why? And I apologize for this. To all you Native Americans out there.
What?
You know why the Cowboys won?
Cowboys won what?
Do you know why the Cowboys beat the Native Americans for the most part?
Oh, you're not talking about the football team.
No.
You're talking about the history of America.
Yep.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know why Cowboys and Indians Cowboys won?
They had guns.
Well, yeah. But
They
the
had
white
guns.
man, the same reason Barbara, whoever the hell, went to jail. Okay? You know why? Because the white man hates anybody else trying to make a dime off of them, right?
Were you about to say Barbara Streisand?
Whatever the fuck her name is. I can't remember her name. I was going to say Meryl Streep at first. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about.
You were like, you know Barbara Streisand, the one who went to insider trading? No, Martha Stewart.
Yep, Martha. Her too. Okay, so it's okay if the Cowboys make the money off the Cowboys, right?
Sure.
But they don't want like a regular old person like us making money off of it, right?
Nope.
Why would you want that?
Because then we don't have it.
Yeah. It's like, what you mean? I got a whole buffet over here. That dude over there just wants some beans? Oh, hell no. He ain't taking my beans. Come take them, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's
With GameStop, it even proved that they will bend the rules to keep you poor.
to keep you away from your money.
To keep you poor.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'll bust my dick. I'll do whatever I can, just to scrape my way up out of hell. And, I'm creeping up that poverty line, and they're going to kick you back down. You know why?
Well,
they don't want you having what they have.
Well, you know what's the funniest thing I've seen on, like, if you don't know, the Wall Street Bets Reddit? What?
Vape juice.
We're taking a small break. We'll be back in 10.
Intermission. Cue the intermission.
Cue intermission.
He is barely my assholes.
But anyway, yeah, they don't want you to be making money with they have. They don't want you to be making money off of them.
Well, I was telling the Wall Street Bets thing made me laugh because on Reddit,
still mad about that.
Most of the people got those stocks for free. So not only were the hedge funds involved, higher than you think, but even the Robinhood and places when you sign up gave you GameStop because they thought it was going to be bad. They're like, they're not going to make any money off of this. So not only did they lose, but everybody involved lost because they all thought this was going to be dog shit. So they gave them out like crazy. So most of the people who had like, you guys said GameStop was stupid to own. Look at it now. It was like one stock or like four stocks for like hundreds, like over $1,000. They're like, this is insane.
I plan on keeping my shares for history after the fact, but believe it or not, I accidentally stumbled upon them. I bought GameStop for $3 and sold it at $10.
I remember that.
It was one of my very first successful, really good day trades. No, I wouldn't say one of my first. One of my best.
Well, that's something you just can't guess. You just had to be lucky or be a part of that Reddit group.
And I wasn't. I have a screener that picked it up, and I was finding these calls, and it threw off everything because of what I look for. I'm going to tell you what I look for in a stock, okay? You guys want to make money? Here's how to do it, okay? I'm going to show you how I get to make money sitting on my toilet and not wearing clothes. All right, here's how I do it.
It's true. The dog opens the door sometimes. It's horrendous.
I don't know how he does it. I'll lock the door and he can just headbutt it. My
He
dog's
does.
fat.
I've seen him. He doesn't care.
He's just like...
He's got no brain cells left. He just rams the door and is fine with
He's
it.
over there coming in from the other side. You know what I'm saying? He's over there like, hello from the other
It's like those rams that are in that just like hop.
Cram.
The bam. Yeah, cream. Cream.
Anyway, here's how I do it. Now, what you want to look for in a stock is, I mean, think of it like this, okay? Why does Google, why does it stay expensive? You know why?
Because it's a valuable company.
It's a valuable company, yeah. You know how
Okay.
to make $1 million? I'll open up this. You know how to make $1 million? You invest $1 billion in a Facebook.
Oh, I get it.
You
Yeah.
know how you make $1 billion? You
So like I said,
invest $1 trillion into Facebook. You know why? Because they're high flow. Okay, you don't want that. You know
Right.
why? Because they're less susceptible to change. You want something that is very volatile. You want something that is cheap. You know why? Because poor people like you, me, and everybody out there that watches this podcast, I doubt any rich people like this crap.
hey yo,
Yahtzee. Anyway, because poor people like us are always trying to get ahead, are we not?
yep.
All right, you tired of working overtime? Great, so am I. Here's how you do it. You look for low float. Why? Because people like us can afford them. You can buy. Why would you buy a $500 share of something, right? Knowing it'll go up to 505 in 10 years. Or you could put 200 bones in on a $3 stock with low float, high ATR. Okay?
Can I remember the
High
RSI
volume,
number? Or RT.
high ATR, like 50 cents. That means it bounces between 50 cents. Because
Oh,
if
okay.
that goes up, if I throw $100 into a $3 stock, $3 stock, and it goes from $3 to $5, I have made a killing.
Yeah.
And you know what else? I can do that again.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that several times in a week and be good.
Now,
And
I want to preface that is very good for what we're doing now because we don't have money.
yeah.
But when we have money, we're doing the thing I talked about with the wealth creation.
We are.
Taking a fat chunk of that cash, putting it in an account where you make 8 to 10% returns, and never touching the motherfucker.
No. And you know what else you want to look for? Well, how do you know the stock's going to pop? How do you know? Simple. You look for these few signs, okay? Think of it like this. Is the weatherman always right? No. Hardly ever is he right.
It's true. He said we were going to have a warm day today. It's -3 outside.
Yeah. That groundhog is more accurate than the weatherman. Punxsutawney Phil, the fat fucking diabetic piece of shit gopher, is more reliable than the weatherman. It's not an exact science.
What year are we?
This is not an exact science. You will probably lose a little bit of money. However, once, twice, maybe 3 times a week, you will make more than you have lost if you
Well, the
follow
average
this
person who returns
method.
on a day trade is 70%.
Yeah.
So for every 10 they lose 3. So, I mean, that's common. If you're not willing to take the risk, you're not willing to get the reward. It's very simple. But the
Your
only way
goods have to outweigh your bads.
well, the only way you avoid those in the future is you figure out what you did wrong. You have to self-assess. You have to be like, "Oh, okay, I did this wrong, and I know I did this wrong, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it next time."
What time does the stock market open?
You can't be like, "The stock market is stupid. I'm never going to play again."
It's all rigged.
Yeah, it's just you not wanting to like actually be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it is.
Okay, then we're like this. What are successful people doing at 6 a.m?
Trading.
Trading, training, reading, yoga, working out,
Oh, I would die for a
combing their
minute.
luxurious beard. You know?
I would die in a minute if I could just wake up in the morning and read a book. Or scratch that. I would die if I could go to sleep at nighttime, reading a book, okay, and then wake up with coffee and a book.
It is freeing. Now, the earlier you wake up, why do you want to do that? Stock market opens today. Why do you want to wake up earlier than that? Because if you wake up at 5 or 6, guess what?
You can get in before the action
You
starts.
can wake up. You're not sitting there stumbling around, tripping over things, yelling at your kids, kicking your dog because you want to make $5 or lose $100. You
That's
know what
just
I mean?
Walter.
Okay, well, you know what I mean? People out there be kicking their dogs, not waking up early.
They'd be kicking their dogs.
They be kicking their dogs, not waking up early. You wake up early. You know what you look for? You look for news. What happened the day before? You know what Abraham Lincoln said? He said, "You give me 10 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 8 sharpening the axe."
Yep.
So wake up at 6. You have all that prep time. Okay, and then
Right.
here's what you do. You look for volume. Okay, you already look for low float. I already told you that. Low float. If it's under $10, it's gonna fly. Okay, anything under $10, you can make a lot of money. Why do I say under $10? Because anything technically over $15 is too much. You can't buy as many shares of that for cheaper, and your reward is not as great as your risk you were taking. So you want to find these low floaters. Anything too cheap, you don't want to risk it. I find that about $3 to $10. That's perfect. It's perfect. Know what I'm saying? Now what you want to look for is news. Not always, because the Reddit group proved me wrong. They don't need news. They just need a reason. Okay. And they made me money.
Now, don't let that discourage you either, because that can be far and few in between.
Yes.
They can't do that every time.
No.
The only way GameStop worked is because of how badly underestimated it was. They were taking, so your max is 100%. You have 0 to 100%. They had shorted this thing 120%, way over the limit they were supposed to make money. Okay? That's an old board.
Can I wipe those?
Not now.
I was gonna write on it.
Oh, it's gonna fall off. I don't have
okay,
an eraser or anything. But it's just hanging on there by like 2 hooks.
Okay.
But that has to happen with the right circumstances. And now that it happened one time, I'm gonna guess they can gauge it a little better now, and they won't. So we taught the lesson we're supposed to. Don't short the American people. We're gonna fuck you up. Right? That's basically what we said.
We're gonna throw that tea right into the harbor, you bitch.
And we did it. So the lesson was learned, and they won't overshort a stock like that or underestimate it to that extent. But GameStop,
they got Tommy guns.
GameStop hit $400 something, and it's now sitting at like $5 or something ridiculous now.
It hit 53 today.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought it was all the way back down.
It did.
Oh.
Yeah. So you typically want to look for news. Okay, well, so what? If a stock has news, it's going to go great? No. What you want to look for is good news. There's good news, and then there's bad news, okay?
Yeah.
When do you want to buy a stock that you're going to sell in a couple days?
Good news.
You buy it during bad news. If you're going to sell in a couple days, you don't want to buy it on a high day.
No. There is something there's looking. Good news doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go up. Usually, remember, you're like, why is it going down? It had good news today.
That means it'll go up in the next day.
Right. So then at the good news, you buy it on the dip at like 9 a.m.
Yep.
And then it'll go flying through the roof is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Another good time to buy? Right after a public offering. I love that shit. A direct offering, a public offering. If they put offering in the basket at church, I'm going to buy it, okay?
That's true.
Because they're making more shares for a reason, okay?
Well, explain to them what a public offering is.
They're making more shares.
Well, so they're offering shares.
I don't know what it means because
they're offering shares at a discount because the difference between their current price and the discount is their profit margin.
Yeah.
So if they agree to sell this many million at $2.93 and they're a $4 stock, the difference between those two is their income in their cash that they have on hand.
Okay, like Zom. How much was Zom? It hit what?
Like
$6, $5, something like that.
No, it's like $2
now.
Yeah.
It hit $5. They're like, public offering. We need more shares.
They were like, we
We're
need
gonna
more
lower the
cash.
price of it to like less than $1, and it stayed at $2.
Yeah. Well, something else that's really good about the public offerings, what I learned from this YouTube thing,
They'll go back up.
is, well, yes, it'll go back up, but then they have enough cash flow to go longer. So even if it might take a while to establish like that air taxi company, if they have cash on hand, then they're probably going to get to their goal eventually. So it's nice to have that cash in their pocket rather than debt in their pocket. So it's always going to be a positive, which is always a positive catalyst to launch you getting involved in that stable stock. Maybe not at the time. You may be like, oh, that's kind of risky. But long term, everyone thinks 4 or 5 years down the line. So you have to think that way as well.
All right.
Yeah. At least from the perspective I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, do I want to hold
term?
I mean, do I really want to hold something for 5 years and not make money? No. But am I thinking on the way there, is there going to be good news? Yeah, there'll be mountaintops on the way to Mount Everest. But that's just how I see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's why I wanted to say is your difference. Low float, high volume.
Well, we did that with Sensonics, didn't we? We bought it. I know we both re-dipped in. We double dipped in it.
So I bought it at the YouTube News. I said I love that company. It's going to be great. It went up at a high peak. I didn't sell it. I thought it was going to go higher.
I sold.
It went back down. So I bought more. And then it went back up higher than the original peak, and I sold then. And then guess what it did?
They had
Down for like 3 days, and then
public offering.
skyrocket.
Kennedy's
And then skyrocket. And we missed the big play.
But we still made profit.
Yeah, that if you make money, you should be happy.
Tell them what the rule is, Chase. Go ahead, drop it.
If you take money, if you have a profit, you a successful day trader.
You a successful day trader.
You a successful trader that day.
You make a quarter what
But-
you put in.
But I will admit,
You
it
made
does
profit.
feel like you got gypped when you see it go to like a crazy number, and you're like, I was in on that. I could have stayed in. But every day you go, you made money? And I go, yeah. And you go, you did good. And that's how the conversation goes.
Because you're not gambling anymore.
Yes, you're
You know how
not.
hard it is to go from anything higher than 25%? I'm
It's
not
hard.
good with numbers.
It's hard.
It's hard as shit. I'm good with patterns, not numbers. I'll own that.
It's hard to go above 25%. People get excited when it goes to like 8%.
Hell, I get a boner when it hits 3%.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm rich as hell.
You do. You go, it's going up, going up. Oh.
I will blow on I will blow on the screen. I'll go just to see if it'll go up. I'll do anything.
Somehow it works. I don't really know how. But somehow it works.
Everybody's got their strategy.
Your
I
strategy
recommend
is
that.
blowing it. Yeah. Zingo.
Is this thing on? Anyone? Anyone? Now, another thing you want to look for is V to the O to the LUME.
Volume.
Volume. Why do you want volume? What does that mean? It means everybody wants that stock and everybody's buying that stock. So what?
Yeah. Well, you have the ability to sell that stock to somebody else who wants it.
Yeah. It means there's another person out there who's like, oh man, I missed it. Why don't I have it? I want it now.
Yeah.
And you sell it to them. Cool. Well, so what? Volume could be anything. They could have been all that shit for years. You want to look for high or relative volume. Now, if the volume is higher, if a stock today, let's say, okay, DFFN, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it stands for. I don't know what they do. I don't care. If they make me money, I don't even need to know their name. I have no clue what it stands for.
Yeah.
They made me over $100 today, and I have no clue what they do. I don't need to. That is irrelevant. What I know is it had a volume of, I think, 30 million yesterday, and its average was 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Before the market opened, it was trading at 90 relative volume. What's relative volume? Relative volume is how many times higher than normal it is being bought and sold. It was being bought and sold 90 times higher than normal.
Yeah.
It had a volume 10 times higher than normal before the day started.
Right.
They
You're like,
had good
oh.
news.
Right.
I bought it. I sold it. I made my money. Okay. Why? Because if everybody wants it, you got something good.
Right.
Why don't people watch our podcast? Nobody wants it.
Nobody.
Our podcast is a very low float stock with not a lot of volume. Okay, but we're getting there.
And which means we're open to investors.
Let me explain it to him like this. Yeah, the analogy I always like. You remember Blockbuster? You can read about it in a history book from the 90s. Here's what it is, okay? Imagine if Blockbuster VHS tapes could cure cancer.
I'm sorry.
Like, wow. Everybody's got a Blockbuster VHS tape in their grandparents' house or parents' house or whatever. How many people even have a VHS tape player?
I never returned that, by the way.
Why would you?
Why
would you?
They'd get me the like video game I'd want, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll drop it in the Dropbox.
Yeah,
Never.
Blockbuster VHS tapes cure cancer now.
My parents are like, I paid $40 for that stupid thing after a week and a half of not returning it. I was like, I like
worth it.
I'm like, I like
See,
it.
bad investment. You want to make it back? Watch the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Follow me at Big Wayne, a.k.a. Wayne the Stock Johnson.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
You like that? Wayne the Stock Johnson? All right, so if they cured cancer, they'd be a low flow, right? You know why? Because there's not a lot of Blockbuster VHS tapes around. So suddenly what you have is now worth a lot more. You can't just go out there, reinvent Game or Blockbuster, and then say, here you go, everybody's going to... No, it's going to take a while. So what the little shit you have becomes hella good shit. It increases in value by a shit ton.
Well, and there's a difference between...
And they can't get any more.
Right, but there is a difference between the way you look at it and when I look at it. So since mine's kind of longer, it's a longer term scheme. just say like a week, okay? That means if one day, like today, like an investment loses a couple $100, I don't freak out. I go, I still know this company is going to be great later. I'm buying the dip, which then makes the minus $100-something, 40-something. So it makes your amount that you're down by go down, but then it also increases the rate of return when it goes through the roof.
Yeah.
So it averages you down. And so like TYME is a good example. That's one that I'm averaging down today.
Why do you average down? Because it's a red day.
Well, yeah, and it has so much stuff coming up.
You
so
don't
I was
sell
like,
on a red day, stupid. You buy on a red day.
So
everybody knows that.
I hate to tell you guys, but you guys are the idiots, okay? Because this is going to be a clip for TH whatever the fuck I just said, time, TYME. That's it.
I don't know what they do. I don't care.
So, well, they have a lot of cancer research stuff that are coming out.
Cool.
Like,
So does Blockbuster.
like,
You want to buy some
well,
Blockbuster?
they have a lot of shit coming out. So eventually, since I'm buying so low, it'll be like, oh my gosh, we got to get it on TYME on time. And then it'll go skyrocketing. You'll make me money.
Do you know why it's good to trade at 6 a.m.? Why Chase and I do it every day?
Because we love it. And I get to see your beautiful face.
On the can, naked, with my dog, at the mercy of God, on a toilet, yelling out numbers I can barely
You guys know
understand.
it's a beautiful thing.
I'll be over there. You'll just hear nothing but plop, plop,
And we're
fart.
like-
and then I'm like, son of a bitch, that little shitball, ghost of Ronald Reagan, holy corn on the cob.
Did
And
you
then
say the
Jess
cor-
will say,
Did you
"Hey,
say
babe,"
oh?
and I'll be like, what?
Did you just say oh God the I'm 90? Is that what you just said? Oh God the I'm 90. Is that what you just said?
Ghost of Ronald Reagan, corn on the cob, son of a bitch.
You're like, as if you are 90, not looking too hot.
When you bleep that out, they're only gonna hear Ghost of Ronald Reagan.
I don't think we can say. This is gonna be a bunch of beeps.
I'm telling you.
Beep boop boing boing
I'm telling you, it's gonna be hilarious when we have those cartoon sounds. Okay? Bing bong. Goes to Ronald Reagan. Now, so you want volume, you want low float. That way, the little shit that they have that they're not making more of becomes a lot more valuable shit. Relative volume. How high is it trading? I don't know. You tell me. We want it about like Post Malone concert. Okay. How much is it at a rock fest? I'd say the relative volume at a rock fest. It's probably like, I'd say it's probably high. I'd say it's about, 8%. If you find it,
What? Oh, if you rock
if
Post Malone.
stocks were a concert, okay, your average rock fest in Kansas would be about a 7 to 8.
Okay.
Okay, you want anything higher than 3 or 5. 3, it's not gonna bounce that much. It's not gonna bounce it. Sorry. If it's trading higher than 5, you keep watching it.
Now let me just interject here. Number one, if you have all this information but don't know what to do with it, just follow him on StockTwits. StockTwits.
At Big Wayne. You can also follow me on Twitter at Wayne the Stock Johnson.
Yeah, very simple. He does this every day.
I do this every day from my toilet, making you millions.
So I just wanted to give him the
You're
basics.
welcome.
If you want the details and all this stuff that he knows, just follow the StockTwits.
I know this shit. I'm an idiot that can't do anything else in life. I'm not good at a lot of things. I didn't go to college. I'm good at patterns. Okay?
Dude, I'm confused. Who cares? I'm not going to edit this, but who cares? Who cares? I'm like,
I care.
people see me as I got a teen pregnant when I was a teenager.
Dude, that's cool. High five.
That's not cool.
Hell yeah.
That's irresponsible. I'm that guy at the grocery store with no future. I'm Bert from Raising Hope.
No, you're not.
Right, exactly.
You're
I'm
a small
not.
town hero.
Exactly.
You're the guy
I'm
that
not.
people put on a dip in and say, hell yeah, tell me that ain't badass. Look at this Camaro.
I don't have any of that stuff.
Look at this 1976 Camaro.
I'm just saying everyone doubted me anyways, so who cares?
I never doubted you.
I know, not you, but
I
like
was
the
the
general
best man at your wedding.
but the general public.
I'm going to give man this speech about the bulls and the cows when he's of age. You already agreed to it.
The
You
Bulls
were
and the
drunk at
Cows.
Adams.
He's gonna get confused like I got confused.
Your son beats me at chess. Ain't nothing confusing him.
Yeah. All
You're
right.
going to retire real
Anyway,
early with that kid.
so if you want the basic StockTwits, Twitter, Big Wayne, StockTwits,
and Wayne, this is Doc Johnson.
yes.
If you can't spell Big Wayne,
But I want
look
to
up
talk
Wayne
to
the
you
Stock Johnson.
now because we're a little crunching on time. I want to talk to you about something very interesting that I want to get involved in with you.
Well, I certainly am intrigued.
With you. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So, we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Okay? I'm not talking about your Dogecoin, the dog coin, whatever it is. I'm talking.
At 30.
How in
sold
the
at
hell?
90.
How in the hell? Every time, you son of a bitch.
Technical difficulties. Please
You
stand
can-
by.
He is barely my asshole.
And we're back. Thank you for that
So-
short intermission.
So the rise of I watched a podcast about a month ago. It's Andre Jick. He's a really popular YouTube guy. Love that guy. He's where all of this kind of like started to happen in my life.
He ain't your BAIs guy.
Oh, that guy? He's a young kid, but this guy's like older than us, very well educated, takes the time to explain to you what's going on. He was on a podcast for about an hour and a half talking just about Bitcoin and why it was so important. It changed my entire view on the whole cryptocurrency, right? Not only necessarily like in a way that's like negative, but in a way that means we're moving forward as a society and as a species, and that cryptocurrency was meant to happen and it's going to continue to happen. So now, you guys have probably heard in the news, in the major news a couple days ago, there's some major players in Bitcoin that are investing billions of dollars into owning this currency. Now, Tesla, they bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin.
And of Dogcoin. He likes Dogcoin.
Nope.
Him and Snoop
He didn't
Dogg
buy
and
that.
Gene
No,
Simmons.
I'm saying Tesla, the company, took cash they had
Right.
and bought Bitcoin for their portfolio. Okay? Square, Square, the little thing you use to swipe cards on, they bought 50 million and they're trying to integrate it into their system. Okay? Apple, they bought 5 billion while also integrating Bitcoin to your phone. So now you have Apple Pay and Bitcoin. So they merged together. So now you can use Bitcoin into the Apple Pay so you can use it together. So they're integrating this Bitcoin into currency now as big players who own billions of dollars worth of this coin, right? So eventually, now I think it hit 50,000 a coin, right? So, MasterCard's allowing crypto. Venmo's going to allow cryptocurrency for Bitcoin. So a lot of these big players are allowing crypto to be a big, big thing, which only means it's going to go higher and it's going to surpass the market cap of the US dollar. So when it surpasses the US dollar, then it'll be uncertain that that'll be the next adaptation of what needs to happen other than the dollar. So it's something everyone can agree on. It's something that's not regulated by a government. It's something that's regulated technically by the people, made by the people, that will change the entire way the economy works. Granted, that's long term, probably when we're old and gray in a nursing home, but that's where the future is. And then the Miami, Florida, of all places, Miami, Florida.
Oh god, not the Floridians.
Okay.
The name of the Floridians.
It says I put this in caps because it's so important. They allow to pay people in Bitcoin. They're going to pay them portions of Bitcoin, and eventually they can handle taxes and their income all by Bitcoin in Miami, which means the entire city of Miami eventually has to buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin as well. Then the country will start to buy it. Then it will surpass the crypto. Then that'll be the new way we regulate money. Now, Andre Jick.
Had to be Florida.
Andre Jick, okay, he said there could be a crash because it's so hyped that it could come back down.
And it happened when? In 2015?
It happened again before institutional money started getting involved, before they could see the future in it as well. So, but if the market cap is much higher, so long term, it's still a good play even after the crash. Kind of the method I was discussing. So, Andre Jick was saying you can slowly integrate portions of your cash into owning Bitcoin because you're risking more not having Bitcoin than even having Bitcoin.
I don't believe that.
So, how?
Drug dealers aren't going to accept Bitcoin.
That's fine. They're drug dealers. But you won't be able
Think
to...
about how many druggies there are even in Miami, Florida.
No, I'm saying...
The capital, a number one place for dinosaur sightings.
Right, I'm saying the market cap, the overall value of Bitcoin, will be more than $2 trillion, which is the US dollar, which means they'll have to adapt that to the economy as their way of currency and valuing things, and then it will go worldwide. One major country has to do it, and if they don't, another country will just adapt Bitcoin. So the fact that it's not even really a struggle between America and other countries about Bitcoin means it's going to happen.
And more like Dogcoin will be a dollar.
I'll link the podcast. It's the Impulsive episode with Andre Jick. I'll link it in here. It's an hour and a half of pure genius.
$1 and Ethereum's like a Hondi?
No. So everything else is basically just hokum. It's crap. The other stuff was...
well, I wouldn't say crap.
It's crap. It's not real.
Snoop Dogg is the face of Dogcoin.
Okay.
It ain't crap.
How do you make $1 million in Facebook?
You hazard me.
You put $1 billion into Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how am I ever going to buy a
Snoop Dogg
Bitcoin?
has $1 million. He puts $1 million into Dogcoin. It goes up 2 cents. He makes a couple $100,000 off of it. No sweat. That's all that's happening. And he's tricking people like you to get involved to run it up.
Hey, you know what?
Welcome-
He can trick me all day long. He made me money.
Welcome to manipulation.
I didn't hold it, bitch. Bitch.
And then so that's a whole new thing. Like I said, I'll link that podcast episode in here because it's really important that everyone watches it, just even for the informational standpoint from it. But I put the last subject was cryptocurrency, and then I put trading cards. Trading cards, baseball, sports, Pokemon. That's huge right now.
But
right?
the price of Bitcoin is what? 30K? For Bitcoin?
50 now. 50K.
Okay, so Bitcoin is 50K?
Yeah.
How the fuck are you going to get one?
It doesn't mean that everyone's going to own one. You can own portions of it. So that it's just another way of moving from an actual dollar amount to using blockchain to regulate income and money.
Shout out to Ryan for making me money.
So it just means it's a grander. So have you heard of the stage 1, 2, and 3 of civilizations? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So stage 1 is like where we use our planet to like regulate everything, and then we have currency that we create that isn't governed by anybody. That's kind of stage 1. I'm going to butcher this, but it's in the podcast episode. Stage 2 is interplanetary. We can go to planets while using that income to grow and go farther out in the stars. Okay? Or no, that's number 3. Number 2 is we use the sun to harness energy to power our planet. So step 3 is interplanetary, but step 1 is getting to a place where money isn't an issue in the space race or the advancements of society. So stage 3 is like Star Wars. Stage 1 is like us now. I think we're at 0.75.
So you're talking about a currency that everybody can use.
Yeah, that's not governed or regulated by the amount by a government or a larger facilitating power. So it allows us to manage everybody together and collectively move as a unit. So that's kind of step 1. So then houses become easier to get. You can pay easier. There's no, it adjusts for all that, like all the crap that goes with the US dollar, inflation, and this and that. It's kind of a basic set of stuff that.
It's stupid hard to sell Bitcoin though.
Right, but it's just blockchain's what it's from, but Bitcoin is the vessel. Like blockchain's what we're really looking for. The way to track, monitor, and assess how we manage money. I'll show you the episode later, but that goes into something that what I'm going to call trading cards of the future, which is that NFT I was talking about, right? Non-fungible tokens, okay? This thing blew my mind, and I shit myself because YouTubers and famous people are going to be like the face of this. Someone already is. His name's Logan Paul. So an NFT is a digital asset that represents a wide range of unique, tangible, yet intangible items, from sports cards to virtual real estate to even digital sneakers. So the example is, because of how coding works, I can code an NFT and only 10 of them can be made in the world because the code cannot be copied or replicated because of the original copy. So you sell those, say you sell 10. On your device or your computer, whatever, you can go, hey, I'm the only one out of 10 people on Earth that owns this thing. It's a rare collectible. Basically like a digital version of a really rare Pokemon card. And Logan Paul has made these. So he's going to sell them with the Pokemon cards he's selling right now. So next thing you know, it's going to be Madden's kids. Kids aren't trading cards that are physical. It's going to be phone. They're going to be trading digital assets, NFTs. Which blew my mind. And that comes from this whole new evolution of Bitcoin and crypto. As that comes through the roof and these new trading card games comes through the roof, they like merged together and created this new entity that I think is pretty cool.
I don't know, man. I mean,
so
I
like
make
if we're like,
I make 0.0008 Bitcoin a year, or whatever. You know,
Bro, well,
I make about a Bitcoin a year. Like, how is?
it's tough. Like I said, that's what he was saying. I don't think that's how it's really gonna go.
I feel like it needs to drop down more. If it dropped down more,
Well,
I feel
like if
then it could be the current thing.
Well, that's why that's Ethereum. So Bitcoin is the economy. Ethereum.
Okay.
Have you've heard of Ethereum?
You heard that too? Kind of like a pop in this.
Yeah, I heard the pop. I think it's just something from the thing. It's still recording.
Okay, cool.
But I can see the light. But the thing is, Ethereum is $1,500, and that's like he said it's basically like if you put a chip inside a dollar bill and you could track everywhere it went. It's an easier way of using blockchain to monitor money. So you wouldn't buy a house in Bitcoin. You'd buy a house in Ethereum. So like Ethereum's going to be like how you have dollars, but the economy is going to be Bitcoin. So like you're going to gauge the economy by Bitcoin itself, but you're going to pay with Ethereum. That's why they're so high above the rest of all this crypto, because they're in a structured valued blockchain like asset, rather than just like
So the more
some
what
BS.
are altcoins and litecoins and dog coins?
Anybody can make a crypto. Like anybody can make crypto. The difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is that it was like, so no one knows where it came from. No one can track it down. So what? But it feels like a team of like 10 people who know every aspect of the human nature, culture, economy, you know, like all these different sectors that make us human beings, got together in a room in secret and made crypto over the years. But they made Bitcoin so stable that they knew eventually when it got to the market, it was going to take off. They did it for the greater good, and no one's taking credit for it. It's like that movie Six Underground. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Okay, so Ryan Reynolds is this rich guy. He's a trillionaire, right? Who fakes his own death. So he fakes his own death and gathers a team of 6 highly skilled individuals to monitor and maintain the good and evil in the world. So there's like a really bad guy in Abu Dhabi who's a trillionaire who's ruining the environment.
Deadpool?
No. This is a separate
Green
movie.
Lantern. Okay.
This is a separate movie. So he has this team of people that no one knows about. Their names aren't real. They've erased their identity, and they go around fixing major like terrorist issues in the world without the government's oversight. They just do it themselves because he has all the money in a trace account, right? It's kind of like that. Kind of like a group of people with no names, no identities, nothing, got together, made crypto, and knew that it would advance us to a different, higher level of being without even realizing that we would understand. They just knew, oh my gosh, 10 years from now or 15 years from now, that's going to be huge, right? So no one really knows where it came from, but it's the most stable structure in the form of crypto. The rest can be someone just coding for
Nobody took credit for it.
No one took credit for it, and no one owns it. That's why it's regulated and governed. It's like someone made it, hit enter, left this computer open, and said, "The world is yours, people. Let's run it like people, like together as a society." It's crazy. So no one owns Bitcoin. No one knows
How
where
many
it comes
did
from.
he own?
I don't know. They could have been like, "We'll take." It could be the richest people you ever know, or could not. You never know. That's the thing. No one can really track it down. So like you can track how we trade Bitcoin and different crypto, but that's because of blockchain. It's really easy to track where it came from. But in general, I just think that this whole movement towards like this whole crypto movement just means that we're evolving as a society. So granted, it does make me a little cautious. Like, even if we did make $1 million,
You better protect John Connor.
You better protect John Connor.
You gotta protect John Connor.
It's just like you never know exactly how society is going to move. But just like investing, there are little synchronicities and signs you can see as we move along. And you can either deny or you can jump on board because that's just the nature of movement. So it's kind of like, that's why I wanted to get into the stock market, into crypto, into where crypto's future is and where all this is really leading.
What to the stock market? It'll just all go to crypto.
Well, not necessarily. It's hard to explain how it wouldn't just happen overnight and be Bitcoin. It'd be like
a transition
an
over
entire
years.
economy, like the U.S. economy, would have to say, hey, we're adapting the entire country to Bitcoin. And that's probably not going to happen. It'd have to be a unanimous decision between like major countries and players. So now this thing's going to go through the roof if now countries start getting involved. What?
One world currency?
Yeah, that's the thing too. A lot of this can be wrapped up in conspiracy. So
No, I thought I had heard that somewhere.
It's the Illuminati. That's the conspiracy. One world government, one world economy, rule it together. But
Dude,
you can't.
if it makes you money,
you can't own Bitcoin. Like you can own Bitcoin, but you can't own Bitcoin. Like the thing where it comes from, like the creation of Bitcoin wasn't created by somebody. That's why it's so hard to like. They're like, where'd it come from? Nobody really knows. You can't Google where's Bitcoin come from. There's no definite answer. So it's kind of like, it'd basically be like if, Tesla was back in the day, he was like the smartest guy. They're like, you're stupid, you idiot. Yeah. Right? You can send electricity, you're a retard.
What the hell's Wi-Fi good gonna do now, Danny?
It'd be like if a bunch of Teslas in like the early to late 2000s were like, this is going to advance society 100 years if we make this right now and like send it on its feet. We won't take credit. No one's going to know it was us. But we know that we're going to be involved in the biggest historical change in history. And they were like, yeah, we're going to do that. So essentially, it kind of reminds me of that movie 6 Underground, is why I mentioned it. People who didn't care about the credit, didn't care about what happened from when they made it. They just knew that eventually it was going to catch on. And people smart like Andre Jick, people like these...
I keep thinking you're going to say Andre the Giant.
I know.
I created the Bitcoin.
I created the Everybody on the peanut?
I'm going to take your eye now. Don't you do that, Mr. Man.
So it just really, like when I first learned it, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, so he recommended just like portioning out pieces of Bitcoin and owning pieces of it. Because even pieces of it still makes you money and you're still in on the ground level. So, for example, I think he had a video where he said he has over $600,000 worth of Bitcoin. So, I mean, he's invested. He's into it. So, he's a smart guy. I've watched him for years.
I wouldn't throw all that much into a Bitcoin. No,
well, he only put in 100,000.
The same thing happened, though, in 2015, bruh.
He'll just buy more.
The Bitcoin.
It's kind of like you push like a little snowball off an avalanche, like down a mountain. It just is gonna keep going until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's undeniable that it's heading towards you. So I think it's at that point. So
I don't know, man.
Like I said, I'll portion my income to have some Bitcoin. Why not?
I wouldn't go throwing everything I have into a Bitcoin.
No. That's why I'm saying portion out pieces that you can like willingly lose.
A vegan, women's lib, one of them women empowerment movement people. What are they called?
What?
The feminist, a feminist, a vegan, and a Bitcoin trader all walk into a bar. Who talks about it first?
A vegan. Why would a vegan talk about Bitcoin? They'd be like, excuse me, are you eating
Bitcoin
animals?
traders, vegans, and feminists are always talking about what they're doing.
That's true. But I think it's just...
That's the only stock joke I have.
Anybody? Well, he looked straight at us and goes, it's stupider not to own 1% of Bitcoin than to not have it at all. It's just...
I might throw $100 in there. Know what I'm saying?
Well, you portion
With
it
the
out.
right blockchain. Because I know people that have tried to sell a Bitcoin, and it is hard.
Well, blockchain's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. So,
Yeah.
imagine the pieces moving, but it's really big, and then they all match up. That chain finishes and makes a new one. And just keeps going.
Yeah, but here's my problem.
So then
with
you can track it's public, by the way. You can go and find the ledger of Bitcoin tracking, and you can see everything. So you can,
But it's untraceable.
it's public. You can see where it came from and where it goes.
No. Because that's how you can buy stuff off the black market. You can use Bitcoin.
It's
Why?
because you're
Because
not on the
they
internet.
can't-
You're not connected to anything. That's why it's the dark web. So they used it as a currency that way. So technically, it's good for them. Which everyone thought it was stupid. But then they were like, well, if you look at the DNA of this thing, it's pretty spectacular. And then it was like, really? And then people started looking at it differently, getting involved. And they were like, well, we think this might be pretty important later in the future. We might want to think about this. And then it went from that to holy hell, is it at 15,000? And then people lost their minds. And then now it's at 50. So I'm like, it's just ridiculous. But
So we got to find the cheapest one to go in on.
so now the Bitcoin's it's a public because of blockchain, not just paying with Bitcoin on the black market, but using purchasing it through I think there's was it Coinbase or Blockify, wherever those are. All those transactions are public. And it makes a block that you can track back. And it's all public. I can't say that enough. It's public. You just go Google blockchain public domain and then find it. So it's a lot easier, which is also why governments wouldn't want to have it. Because then governments would have to then validate purchases from crypto. So if you do something as a government to purchase something, we as the people can see it. You can't hide it. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like that'd be the only pushback from a government entity.
I don't know, man. It's just...
This all
'cause
came from that
It's
episode.
untraceable unless you have a record of you spending and buying it, right?
Well, you have to. If I buy on a Robinhood blockchain, it goes into the blockchain.
If you buy it through Robinhood, yeah.
If I buy it through Coinbase or Blockify,
Okay, but what if somebody hacked into
those
it
are the
and took
only
your Bitcoin?
places like that are the only actual Bitcoins that are actual Bitcoin that you can actually trust. They're an established blockchain company that runs these things and makes it public. I know it's kind of creepy and kind of sounds weird, but I really do believe when he broke it down to first, second,